Yeah.
Mia Khalifa is now pleading with other women not to enter the adult film industry because of the way she feels she was controlled and abused while she was in it, which actually, ironically, only was 3 months of her life. I think she said that she started doing porn when she was 21.
And that her husband encouraged her to do it.
Yes, and she was married at the time. And yeah, it was with the approval of her husband at the time. And it was only 3 months of her life that have now reportedly haunted her until the day she dies. This is her words, not mine, although I would have said it anyway. But she's spoken about this on multiple occasions, and I feel like she can't get her story straight because she refuses to denounce the industry as a whole. She is now promoting what she calls ethical pornography and ethical pornography consumption, which essentially means, I guess, subscribing to women on OnlyFans.
Yep. Straight direct to consumer.
Which makes sense because she has an OnlyFans and then, you know, benefits from people subscribing to her thinking that they're doing some kind of like charity work.
Yeah.
They're doing ethical porn consumption. But yeah, this says Khalifa has come out with advice for other women, begging them not to get into the porn industry. She initially rose to fame after embarking on what she described to be an abusive career in the world of adult entertainment. Despite only filming a handful of videos, the actress immediately rose to fame. She became one of the most searched adult stars in the world. And here was her statement. Please, please, please think about this if you are considering the sex industry. They make it impossible to rectify your regrets should you have them in the future. It goes the same way if you start an OnlyFans once you turn 18 and then those images are propagated all over the internet for the rest of your life. It has nothing to do with whether you work for one of the big porn studios or you make porn of yourself from your bedroom. It's the internet.
Yeah.
That's how the internet works. I don't know if anyone told her that, but it doesn't make sense to me how she sees there's such a big difference between the two.
On the one hand, I'm like, this is a little bit like, given that she's still in the industry, it's a little silly to me that she's saying these kinds of things. But I don't disagree that the industry is exploitative and that it's horrible, not just for the women who are involved in it, but also for the men who are having their minds warped by it. So it's like, if you're going to come out and say, you know, hey, I was in this industry and it was exploitative and awful and, you know, it did terrible things to me and my psychology and all that, it's going to help people take you seriously if you actually leave the industry. Like,
right.
I you know, good message in saying, you know, it's an industry that can be exploitative, but like, you're not the best messenger.
She says she's been left with permanent trauma from her time in the industry. Quote, that hourly dissociative attack from remembering hundreds of millions of people's only impression of you is solely based on the lowest, most toxic, most uncharacteristic 3 months of your life when you were 21. She said those 11 videos will haunt me until I die, and I don't want another girl to go through that because no one should. Long story short, don't do porn. And if you do, don't do it with a company. Do it for yourself on your own terms. And if you consume porn, make sure it's ethical and not from giant corporations who profit off of exploiting women. Like your groceries, shop local and direct from the creators.
It's so hard to take it seriously because, again, like, she said the thing that we all know is the correct thing here, which is don't do porn. And then she qualified it because she's still doing it.
You got to go to the porn farmer's market.
Yeah, she's still doing it. So, you know, she can't say, you know, don't do it. Because if she does, then she has to quit doing it. And like,
well, it's like when who were we talking about? The person's like, my so would never do, or like said, I would never do porn. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
How dare you call my friend a hooker? Not that there's anything wrong with being a hooker. When you clearly, if you're offended by that word, you think there is something wrong with it. And I think Mia Khalifa knows, on some level at least, that, you know, doing porn and consuming porn is destructive to everyone involved. But she's just not willing to go all the way with her condemnation of it because, of course, this is just how she makes her money. And she's addicted to the attention, more importantly.
And it's more a condemnation of just how the industry treats you. But a lot of her post at the beginning was saying, like, I was taken advantage of. I was talked into doing this. The average person sees that. They're like, you were an adult. You made your choices.
Yeah, and a lot of women who get into the porn industry, they weren't adults when they were talked into doing it. So she's actually the exception to that rule.
Yeah, the problem we're seeing with OnlyFans is that they're, high school girls who are being, who
they see a TikTok about it.
Yeah, think about it. If you're a 16, 17-year-old girl and you don't have aspirations of, being a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, like you've never really thought about your future.
Yeah.
Then you're going to look at it and be like, all right, well, and think about who's being targeted by this kind of industry. It's typically not, the daughters of lawyers and doctors. It's typically not the daughters of middle-class families. It is in some occasions, and it's getting more common, but the people most vulnerable to this kind of thing are lower-income people who, typically, if we look at the situations, have different culture around certain aspects of life. So you might look at it, they might see these things and be like, oh, well, I can have the money and the cars and everything that I aspire to, but don't have access to because of my standing.
That's why they put out the propaganda articles that are like, here's me with my first home. I'm a homeowner now thanks to OnlyFans. And there have been countless examples of
There's
that.
a $20 super chat there.
Daniel J. Corica said, if Angel Studios made a movie about Sodom and Gomorrah, would you guys go see it? Saved a mini kitten's life yesterday. It tried crossing on a 4-lane major highway. Now I have 5 cats.
Good save.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, to the first
Two
question.
very different.
What would you say, Brett? Would you watch a movie about Sodom and Gomorrah?
They were like, do you want to watch Cabrini? I'm like, no.
If I don't have to watch any actual sodomy, yes. But I doubt Angel
Gomorrah?
Studios would put that in the movie. Gomorrah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to see that either, whatever that is.
Does anybody get gonorrhea?
I would watch Sodium and Gomorrah.
Sodium and Gomorrah. Angel Studios has a movie coming out in December called Homestead that I am looking forward to. That's got Neil McDonough and Chase Bailey in it, or Bailey Chase. I'm sorry. I am looking forward to that.
I got stuff in the hopper.
Yep.
But I think I would watch it. That seems interesting. I don't think Hollywood would touch a movie like that.
Just thinking about it from like the writing perspective, I'm not sure how you write a movie.
Well, you could write a movie
about Abraham that includes Sodom and Gomorrah, but I feel like on its own, it's kind of hard to make a movie about because it's such a short episode.
Yeah, you'd have to make up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
like maybe if the movie,
interesting idea nonetheless.
Maybe if the movie fictionalized the cities and the lead up, and then towards the end, Lot shows up.
Or just call it Sodom and Gomorrah and then make it like a biopic about Mia Khalifa. That would be fine.
Sodom and gonorrhea.
Yikes.
There we go.
Yeah.
But like,
it feels like one of those examples that you always give when you say like they're almost there. They almost get it, but they don't quite get it yet.
She's like closer than she even thinks to understanding why porn is evil. But, they invite her to the Oxford Union and they give her all this clout and the brand deals and the modeling agencies are asking for her. And it's like clearly this decision that she regrets has paid off, at least monetarily, even though it destroyed her marriage, her second marriage, I mean.
Yeah.
Like her first marriage fell apart. Then she gets married again and she talked publicly about this. She, obviously had this talk with her then husband, like, are you sure you're okay with marrying someone who has videos like this out on the internet and like naked pictures of me out on the internet that millions of people have seen? Thank you. On that note, dance break.
Pause for dance break.
And like she says, at least this is her side of the story, that her second husband was like, yes, I'm fine with it. It's in your past. I don't think any less of you, and I am secure in my masculinity. Therefore, we can continue on, and I'm okay with marrying you because I love you. And then she admits that, that changed, and he became uncomfortable with it later on in their marriage, which ultimately led to them breaking up. And still, then she decides, oh, I'm in the position to give people marriage advice. My marriage advice is get divorced.
Yeah.
Like, that was her... I don't know. She just seems like a very lost person, but I don't really excuse her of the bad advice she's giving to people who are just as clueless.
Yeah.
You know, at least Riley Reid is herself.
I mean, yeah.
Like I for the record.
He's like, I don't know who that is.
For the record, I know who she is because I was 12 once, and I had a lot of friends who knew who she was, so to speak. I myself have always been pretty anti this stuff. I don't like it. I don't use it myself. So I just wanted to clarify that before it's taken out of context. But no, like, you know, at least that's what I don't like is the hypocrisy of it. It's like, don't say, hey, don't do this thing that made me rich and famous. You'll regret it. Like,
it's not going to resonate with people.
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
You're the messenger for that. But also, we talked about Riley Reid before because she did this interview where she talked about how she's basically been disowned by all of her family members, and she says she regrets starting to do porn as well, yet she is still doing it.
Well,
but she's never said I don't think she's ever said that people shouldn't do it.
Maybe she's blaming the
least if she
family
has, I didn't
members
see
for
that
their
part.
reaction to her
She
career choice.
she recently was like Dick Serto always has articles about her and talking about how she basically
That's
gave up
sus.
doing scenes with men because it affects her ability to get into relationships and stuff like that. There's a public fascination with how women who navigate this industry lead their personal lives.
Our video about
It is
like
just interesting.
why porn stars die young is I think that's the biggest video on our channel.
Yeah, it's if not
Like,
the
there
big-
is kind of a
it's 'cause
sick
there was
fascination with all of
there was like 4 deaths in the time
Yeah.
in the span of like a month or something like that, and the rate is even higher than that. I mean, a lot of them die. Like, the only place that would have, like, if they did an in memoriam at the end of the year, the only industry that would have a bigger one would be pro wrestling.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and it's a public fascination because I always thought that would become less of a public fascination as it became more mainstream. That people have a natural inclination to want to learn about how people who operate on the edges of society live. But as they become more mainstream, I mean, most of them, they don't even do it you don't even have to enter the industry for a long period of time anymore. You enter the industry, you work for one of these major publishers for a year, you do as many videos as you can, and then you just immediately shift to being an influencer.
Yep.
And
And for
working
her, it was
yourself.
literally 11 videos.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about with how well known she is.
Also, just on the subject of like the ways that porn influences society as a whole, Playboy is responsible for the Illuminati conspiracy theory.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Nobody thought about I'm saying nobody might, generally nobody thought about the Illuminati up until like the late 60s. And then a couple of editors at Playboy got the idea to write a series of fake letters to the editor about how the Freemasons were actually secretly the Illuminati, and the Illuminati were in control of Hollywood and the governments and all that. Like the modern day Illuminati conspiracy originated in Playboy magazine.
Who were these people?
I don't remember their names.
What on
A
earth?
buddy
I can
Why
send
would
you guys.
they- why
I'll
would they
send you
do
guys
that?
the article. I'll send you guys the article. It
What
was
was
written
their
by.
motivation for doing that?
They just thought it would be funny. Think about 4chan. Why does 4chan do anything
Okay.
as a collective unit? Because they think it'll be funny.
They were just a couple of trolls.
Literally just a couple of pranksters.
Before the age of the troll, they were the troll.
That's insane. I'd never heard about that before.
Yeah,
Wow.
and people bought it because Playboy is a reputable magazine.
It's you buy it for
the article.
Yeah, I read it for the article.
Obviously.
I read it. I look at Playboy for the Illuminati conspiracy.
Exactly.
Of course. That's true. We got 2 20s there.
Heavy Burnman said, "Happy birthday, Brendan, Melissa, and Arnold Matthew. I'm still awake after working a night shift, and I forgot y'all went live. Brain fog is thick today."
I know the feeling, man.
Gordon Shumway.
That's not the right names.
Gordon Shumway said, if modern women can suddenly become unhappy in a marriage and get a no-fault divorce so they can find themselves with a European trip, then a husband can suddenly become uncomfortable with his wife's past. That's equality.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Thoughts?
Also, really quick, Heavy Burn Man. I love the specific super chat number. That's a thing on our channel.
Oh,
$22.37.
Yeah. A lot of people do 223 or 556.
The issue is, though, you can't say that you're comfortable with it and change your mind later on. Like, you should have just never married a porn star. Like, my life advice for this guy, you probably shouldn't marry the ex-porn star if it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's definitely.
He was clearly in denial about that.
I'm with you there.
That's what it was. You think it's like he's like, look, I can deal with it. I'll be fine. And then a certain amount of time passed. He's like, never mind. I was wrong. I can't do this.
That's the thing is, as a man, you sit there and you're like, I'm not jealous. I can handle this. I'll be fine.
Like,
but
she
then
doesn't
for
do it anymore.
years,
Yeah.
you got to deal with every guy friend you have being like, hey, I was watching your wife last night. Like, you got to, and even if it's just in jest, you know, it's going to chip away over time until eventually you're like, I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And
Also, the other possibility is that, like, it could have been, like, there were other problems in the marriage, and then that was just the icing on the cake. Was like, and you're past.
Yeah.
And the problem is like society has told the women in this industry, or like the women in general, that what he feels isn't okay. He should be okay.
Oh yeah,
with
that's
it.
insecurity. That's toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you won't marry or date a current or former porn star, that is because you are not secure in your masculinity.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.